What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to 10 o'clock football on Sunday. I'm not welcome back because this is episode 1, but welcome you to the first episode on 10 o'clock football on Sunday. And basically what 10 o'clock football on Sunday is on Sunday after all the 10 o'clock games, come out here and make a series on the 10 o'clock football games, what happened, all the news, and all the scores leading into the 105 and 125 games. I'm your host, Big Football Podcast, and let's get right into it. Without further ado, let's get right into the first game in the 10 o'clock game. We had the Titans upsetting the Texans 32-27, and absolute bomb game it was because obviously Tennessee got the early start in the first quarter, leading the Texans 10-7 in the first quarter. In the second quarter, it was 17-20. Tennessee still leading. Tie game in the third, and in the fourth quarter, 9 points from from the Titans and 3 points from the Texans. Huge upset, only by 5 points, but the Titans get the win. Obviously, last week we saw the Texans get the win over the Cowboys in Monday Night Football. So, obviously, the Texans drop all the way down to 7-5, and this just kind of shows the effect of Stephon Diggs not being there. C.J. Stroud, he has Tank Dell and Nico Collins, but besides that, isn't really anywhere there to throw to for C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud with not a terrible game besides 2 interceptions. Both by Murray Jr. and Brownlee Jr., but 2 juniors out there. Besides that, great win for the Titans. They dropped down they're kind of come back up to 3-8. Still probably not going to make the playoffs, but great game nonetheless. Moving on to probably one of the best games. I said this last week about the Packers and Bears game, but the Bears come out and almost get a win again against the Vikings today. They've had 2 close games, but now they're 4-7. And the score was 30-27. Vikings get the win in overtime. But Bears obviously put up a great fight. Obviously Caleb Williams with another great game, 340 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then Sam Darnold had 330 yards and 2 touchdowns, both with no picks. We saw Nick Mullins come out there and throw a pass for 14 yards. We saw Justin Jefferson actually be extremely quiet, and I think that's why the Bears had such a close game here. Justin Jefferson with 2 catches for 27 yards. Jordan Addison with the touchdown. And Naylor. Obviously, crazy game. Sad that the Bears couldn't get the win, obviously. Aaron Jones for the Vikings had 22 carries for 106 yards and a touchdown. And Caleb Williams with the most rushing yards for the Bears with 6 carries for 33 yards. DJ Moore for the Bears with a good game. But nonetheless, Vikings get the win, 30-27. Huge win for them. They're now 9-2. One of their losses came from who right here. So we'll see if they can get a good playoff run. This game I'd like to talk about a little bit. Another upset. Obviously, we thought the Commanders were going to beat the Cowboys. They did not. So it was a 34-26 win for the Cowboys. We saw last week that when the Cowboys lost to the Texans by a lot, that honestly, if you really think about it, Cooper Rush had a really good game in that game. So we thought, well, maybe he can come out and have a good game today. And, well, yeah, he did. 24 for 32 with 247 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rico Dowdle with 86 yards and 19 carries. And C.D. Lamb finally showing up with 10 receptions and 67 yards. Not a huge game. Jaden Daniels, 275, 2 touchdowns, but 2 picks, which probably lost in the game for sure. Also, Jaden Daniels for rushing yards. He had 74 yards on the ground and a touchdown. And Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, with 5 receptions, 102 yards, and a touchdown, which is great. Obviously, his average is going to be pretty dang high. 5 receptions for 102 yards is really, really good. So, congrats to him. His average was 20 yards a catch. So, congrats to him. Big day, but the Cowboys come out and win it, keeping their playoff hopes alive, sort of. So we'll see if they can do it. Obviously, it's a close match between them and the Rams right now, who are 5-5. But they have a tough opponent today against the Eagles. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So, moving on. Dolphins-Patriots, obviously expected. Tua comes out and has a decent game. 317, 4 touchdowns, 4-touchdown game, no picks. We saw that Waddle had a touchdown. Tyreek had 48 yards. But A-Chain with 2 touchdowns receiving. Obviously, we know he's the running back. Patriots, Drake May with honestly another decent game. He's been playing good. He played good against the Rams. So obviously we thought he might have a decent game here, and he did. 220 yards, touchdown, and a pick. Obviously, he's still a rookie, sorta. Big win for the Dolphins. They're 5-6, so we'll see if they can actually make the playoffs. We shall see. This game I've been meaning to talk about the entire time. Chiefs beating the Panthers 30-27. Now, this game, the fact that the Panthers even got close to beating the Chiefs is crazy. I mean, this game, the Chiefs, they're 10-1, right? Are they going to make the Super Bowl? No, there is no way. The fact that the Panthers only lost by a 3-point deficit, they were tied with 2 minutes left in the game. The fact that it was a 3-point loss, the Panthers shouldn't even feel bad about themselves. People thought they'd run over. Like, the Chiefs are ticked off about the fact that they lost to the Bills last week. We thought they'd come out and storm over the Panthers, 40-0, you know what I'm saying? But they did not. 27-30, Panthers with a crazy breakout, but did not get the win, sadly. Everyone was hoping for them to get the win. Patrick Mahomes, 260 and 3 touchdowns. Honestly, not a bad day. Bryce Young, though, with 260 as well and a touchdown. So the youngsters obviously he got benched earlier in the season, and to see him come out and actually perform much better than he did in the beginning of the season is pretty cool to see. Chuba Hubbard, 58 yards and a touchdown, and DJ Moore with 81 yards, 6 receptions and a touchdown. On the other side of the football, for the winning team, I already talked about Patrick Mahomes. Kareem Hunt with 68 yards and 16 carries. And Noah Gray with 4 receptions, 66 yards, and a touchdown. I'd like to talk about the fact that Travis Kelce is progressively having one of his worst seasons since last year. Honestly, he had 6 catches for 62 yards, no touchdowns. It's probably one of his better games. Like, genuinely, this season, he has not played good at all. So, we'll see how he does in the next couple weeks, but he has not been playing good at all. Huge performance from the Panthers. I'm not going to lie. Sad they couldn't get the win. Everyone was hoping for the giant upset, which would have been crazy, and they got pretty close to it, so congrats to them. Buccaneers-Giants, expected, like I said, 30-7. Buccaneers get the win. Obviously, the Giants just cut Danny Dimes, so they had Tommy DeVito starting. Drew Lock got a pass for 3 yards out in the game, but Tommy DeVito, 190 yards, nothing else besides that. So it was tough to see them lose by that much. Malik Neighbors, 64 yards. Besides that, we did not see a single peep out of the Giants all game. On the other side of the football, much needed Buccaneers win. Baker Mayfield, 24 for 30, only missed 6 passes. Great game. And 300-yard game. Mike Evans was 68 yards. And, besides that, blowout win for the Buccaneers. Expected. They needed this win if they want to have any chance at making the playoffs. Moving on to the last 10 o'clock game, Lions-Colts. Lions get the win. In the beginning, I honestly thought the Colts would. There was a close game at halftime. 6-14 at halftime, one-score game. But after the second half, Lions locked in, sealed the deal, 24-6. They're also 10-1, probably the best team in the NFL. Hopefully, they make the playoffs. I would love to see that. Jared Goff, 270 yards, nothing else. Jahmyr Gibbs with 2 touchdowns, and David Montgomery with 2 touchdowns. On the other side of the football, we had Anthony Richardson with 172 yards, nothing else. And, so, honestly, big win for the Lions, obviously. They're probably going to make the playoffs at this point. I did want to talk about the Rams game a little bit later today, which is Rams-Eagles. They're probably not going to win that game. Even my predictions, I said they're probably not going to win that game. But we'll see. They beat the Vikings. No one thought they would. So we will see. The Eagles are definitely a much better team than them. So we'll see the outcome of the game. We really need this win if we want a chance at the playoffs. Our schedule, it's pretty tough from here on out. I'm not going to lie. So, obviously, we'll see what happens. We play the Eagles. Then we play the Saints. We should win that game. Then we play the Bills. We're not going to win that. 49ers, it depends how many injuries they have. Jets, that'll be a good game. Cardinals, we need to get our revenge there. Seahawks, let's hope that we can win that game again. So, see what the Rams can do. But besides that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in on 10 o'clock football on Sunday. I'm your host, Big Football Podcast, and have a good rest of your day.